There was a guy 2,000 years ago named Luke, and he was one of the four guys in the first century that tried to capture what Jesus did and why it mattered in a biography that we call the Gospel of Luke. Now, Luke wasn't an author just looking for another good story. By profession, he was actually a medical doctor, a guy who tended to care a whole lot about facts and maybe this much about the feelings. And the reason that one day he sat down to write like a history of what happened with Jesus is because he had a friend who was interested in the facts. He had heard about Jesus. It seems like he had come to faith in Jesus, but he wasn't 100% sure. Like, was this all real? And could he put his hope and his future in Jesus as his Savior? Let me show you a passage from Luke chapter 1 where we find out why Luke wrote his gospel. He says, "With this in mind, since I myself have carefully investigated everything from the beginning, I too decided to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus, so that you may know the certainty of the things you have been taught." Sometimes here in the 21st century, Christians are famous for their testimony. Like, here's what God has done for me, and here's how I feel about Jesus, so you should feel this way about him too. But that wasn't Luke's approach. His friend Theophilus wasn't certain about his faith, so instead of just sharing his testimony, Luke wanted to investigate the actual history. And so he put his medical mind to work. He started from the beginning and he carefully investigated. He found the eyewitnesses, he interviewed, and then just cobbled together a bunch of personal thoughts and emotions. Instead, he decided to write an orderly account so that Theophilus could be certain of his hope, his peace, and his future with Jesus. And so starting today and for the next few weeks, that's what we're going to do. We're going to start to read this orderly account that Luke wrote so that Theophilus and generations of people after him could be certain about Jesus.